Hi everyone, Jim Rizoli here, Holocaust denier extraordinaire, and proud of it. Well, I want to just talk to you about a topic today that's of interest to me, maybe to you too. But I do a lot of reading. That's pretty much what I do during the week. I'm retired. I spend probably all day watching videos, reading things, documenting things, making videos. So I have a pretty busy life doing what I'm doing now. In fact, I'm probably busier now doing this than when I was working. Well, I want to direct your attention to an article in this booklet here. Actually, the booklet itself, Nuremberg and Other War Crime Trials, a new look by Richard Hardwood. All right, so that's that book. You can get this online probably. You can actually get it and download it as a PDF also, I would imagine. Just put the name in and add PDF to it, and you should be able to download it. But what interested me about the Nuremberg trials, and if you folks or any of you folks trying to understand the Holocaust, the Nuremberg trials is a good place to really think about what happened. Because there weren't just one Nuremberg trials. There were many Nuremberg trials. There were many military trials. Each segment of the Allies had their own trials. The Americans had their own American trials. French had theirs. The Soviets had theirs. So a lot of people had their own trials, and thousands of people were put on trial for supposedly war crimes at that time. And a lot of Germans were killed, and they were executed as they were put on trial after. They were killed after. Now, what you want to really think about this is why. Because normally when there's a war trial, any type of trial, right? People, let's say they were sentenced to death, and they could appeal the case, right? Normally this is what happens in court, but not during this time period. Those people that were found guilty now were, especially the first Nuremberg trials, 11 of them out of 22 that were on trial at that time period. You've seen the pictures. Right behind me is the video of the Nuremberg trials right now, and you can see it. And there were 22 people basically at that trial that were put on trial there, and 11 of them, I believe, half of them were executed. So why would that happen? Well, the reason why is because dead men tell no tales. Okay, you have to get rid of all the evidence of all the people that had anything to do with this time period, and you got to get rid of them quickly. And that's what they did. And I want to bring out a fact here too, that a lot of people might say, well, the Germans themselves admitted to some of the crimes, or they admitted that there was mass murder going on, during that time period. And that is true. They admitted that. But the reason why they admitted that is because they got faked out here. Okay. The Nuremberg trials established this one fact, and they established the fact that there was a mass murder going on of Jews. That was part of the whole thing here. In other words, there was no investigation of that topic. They just assumed by the Soviets giving their information about mass murder in Auschwitz. In the beginning they said 4 million were killed. They just assumed that there was a mass murder going on without any evidence, without looking at the facts, without looking forensically at how this could have happened. It was just incredible. They just accepted it as, yes, there was mass murder going on without any facts, okay? And you can't question it. So anyone that was put on trial, okay, they had to actually go along with this. There was no way you couldn't go along with it, okay? So they figured that if they admitted that, yes, there were mass murders going on within the German Reich, but then they would say, but I had nothing to do with it. I knew nothing about it. See, that's how they more or less got off. And that's why people will say to us today, "Oh, a lot of the Germans admitted that this was going on." Sure, they admitted it was going on because they had no choice, and they thought that they were going to get off by saying that. But the problem is, a lot of them didn't get off. they were hung. Okay, so it didn't work out too well for them. And this has to do with people being cowards. Okay, they actually, you know, gave in, and except two of them now, okay? You know, Goebbels and Himmler, all right, actually ended up killing themselves, okay? Because they were not going to allow these Nuremberg trials or whatever trials that would come later for others. They weren't going to allow this to you know, make a mockery of the judicial system with them in it. So they knew they were going to be killed anyway, so they ended up taking their own lives. Of course, people say that was a coward's way out. Well, not really. They knew what was in store for them, so they just didn't want to waste their time. And they also, too, knew the truth, all right? And they didn't want to have to, you know, be forced to maybe recant their testimony, maybe, in the end. But they didn't. They killed themselves, so they didn't even have to deal with that. But anyway, as I'm reading through the Nuremberg and Other War Crimes trial by Richard Howard, again, definitely look at this. The things that happened in this trial were just beyond comprehension. The defense, okay, anybody that was being put on trial, any of the Germans, they really had no defense. They couldn't bring any witnesses to defend them. Everything was against them, okay? And it was just a mock trial to make it look like they were doing something positive. But again, you know, you could read all about this. I mean, I'm trying to make this a short video. There's a lot to the Nuremberg trials. This booklet will definitely help you out, okay, to understand it. And I encourage you to read it. But I wanted to bring up one case that really interested me, okay? And this had to do, on page 55 in the booklet, with a man named Richard Baer. And why is this interesting? Is because after the Eichmann trials, Richard Baer, who was the last commandant of Auschwitz. Now, when they interviewed him, this is in 1960 now, just to show you how far off this was, all right? They found him, and they interviewed him, and he was arrested in 1960. And he said in his interview that there were no gas chambers at Auschwitz. So in other words, he told the truth. Now they were going to put him on trial. But again, here's what happened here. Unfortunately, he did not live long enough to take his position in court, for he died in prison in 1963 at the age of 51, apparently from a circulatory ailment, although his wife considers his death rather mysterious. Well, this man was as fit as a fiddle. He was a lumberjack. Believe me, if he was going to die, he would have died before that. And so all of a sudden now, here's Richard Baer, okay, the last commandant at Auschwitz, the one who really knew what was going on there. He says there were no homicidal gas chambers, there was no mass killing of the Jews, and now he's going to go on trial to say all this. He mysteriously dies. All right? Again, dead men tell no tales. So this is the whole point of all these people putting, I mean, like I said, there were thousands of people being put on trial. Thousands of them. And a lot of them went to their deaths. A lot of them got life sentences. Some got acquitted. I mean, you know, because they didn't have enough evidence to prove what happened here. But the thing is, when you look at how the Germans were treated at the end of the war, they had to get rid of them as quickly as they could, and they could not have anyone come back later, all right, to tell the truth about what happened here. And that should get any of you people who maybe you believe in the original, Jewish version of the Holocaust or what happened. But when you see what happened here and how they dealt with the Nuremberg trials, you're going to see there was a big cover-up because, again, there were no homicidal mass killings of anyone, all right? We do admit that Jews were killed and they were shot and, you know, all these types of things happened. But as I mentioned in my past videos, you know, probably in all the camps, maybe 500,000 people died. Half of them might have been Jews. And that's being generous with that figure, okay? And in Auschwitz, they claim maybe, 70,000 people died in that camp, and maybe half of them might have been Jews too. So when you investigate this, and that's what I try to get everybody to do your own homework. You know, I do a lot of these videos. I've done thousands of videos, over 1,000 videos. mostly dealing with this topic. And again, my major YouTube site is Rizoli on YouTube. That's my major one. They took down my previous site that had 600 videos on it, even though about 400 had to do with the Holocaust. But they took it down, and of course, you know, they're probably working to take this one down too, because they're censoring my videos. They're banned in 35 countries. They censor them in regards to saying that this information is really sensitive information, and click here so you know that you're getting into a site that has information that's not really accepted in many places, and it's not. So, you know, I have several YouTube sites up, and they're coming after them, you know, all of them. So I try to put the videos up on all the sites, you know, so if they take one down, I can have the other sites ready to go. So we'll see how all that works out. But again, you know, my whole purpose is to get you folks out there so you can do your own investigation. You know, read these publications, like I said, if you can get this information here, the PDFs, or get the booklet too if you can find it. Nuremberg and Other War Crime Trials by Richard Howard. You're going to learn a lot. And if you watch the videos, there's plenty of videos out on the internet now dealing with the Holocaust issue. So, you know, you can look at David Cole and Auschwitz. You can look at the video 1/3 the Holocaust. You can look at Grandma Rudolph's videos that are on the Kodo site, CODOH.com site. A lot of videos that he has made too. There's plenty of information to show you the other side of the story, because there is an other side. The official Jewish version is basically a lie, and the reason why it's a lie, because I got into another video about reparations and the money that they made after the war, you know, with all the people collecting the reparations. That's where the money was, okay? It really had nothing to do with people dying and who suffered and all this. It had to do with how the Jews could use this situation, this Holocaust event that they claim happened, which didn't happen. So they invented this claim that millions of people were killed and the survivors should have gotten compensation for this. It's all about the money. Follow the money trail and you'll see why the Holocaust is where it is today. Because again, there was no Holocaust of Jews like they said there was. We don't deny Jews died. We don't deny people suffered. We don't deny Jews were shot. Okay? Those things happened, but nothing close the amount of people that they say it happened to. So again, do your own homework. Subscribe to my you know, YouTube site here. If you can find my other sites, they're out there too. You'll see the same videos here and there, and those are probably my videos too. You know, subscribe to all these sites that have this information, because they're doing their best to stop this information from coming out. And they're taking a lot of people's sites down. And we have to have this information. If we can download the videos ourselves, and even the Holocaust handbooks, which again, they banned all of Grandma Rudolph's Holocaust handbook series on Amazon. So you have to go to the Kodo site, CODOH.com site, to get these books. And you can get the PDFs there free, so that's kind of cool if you want to do that too. Plenty of information out there, but you have to know where to look, because when you do searches on the internet about it, you're going to get the official Jewish version, which basically is the lie. All right, you want to get the truth on this topic, and we're trying to present, you know, the truth here. Well, anyway, I think that's it for now, folks. I try to make these videos as short as I can. There's some great videos out there. In fact, there was a fellow who just put up 2 videos. I'll put the link to him in this video of mine. He talked about some really good historical information about the Holocaust that I think you'll appreciate. So I'll put the link to those videos. I'll also put my email address here, my telephone number if you want to get in touch with me, because they might censor this video, so I want to have the information on the video itself, because you might not be able to see anything in the bottom that's there. So I'll put that there too, so you can either get in touch with me through email, or you can call me on my home phone, leave a message. I'll get back to you. Well, anyway, I'm Jim Rizoli here. I want to thank you for watching this video, and continue on in your search. The truth is out there. It's just going to take some effort on your part to find it. All right, take care now. Bye. Lie, 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 lie.